Hey there, it's Rachel Mullins, the host of Hashtag No Filter Fridays on Public House Media.
Hey, it's Baxter Colburn here from Public House Media. Did you know that we just added a store here at Public House Media? No, I'm not talking about a grocery store where you can go buy apples or bananas or peanut butter, which are all fantastic, especially when peanut butter's on all of those. Anyway, we've added a store here at Public House Media so you can not only come and represent your favorite podcast network, but also represent your favorite shows as well, too. Just go over to thephmedia.com and look in the top right corner where you'll see the button that says Store. Click on that and you can search through all of our great products. Or if you go to our Facebook page, Public House Media, you can see on the left-hand side a tab that says Store. All of our products are listed there as well, too. It's the new Public House Media Store. You don't want to miss it. It is fantastic. Buy some of that great swag to support your favorite shows and to support Public House Media. Check it out today.
This is Danny Domer, host of Podcast, A Star Wars Story, here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you come check out my show, Podcast, A Star Wars Story, where we talk about Star Wars and everything there is to know about Star Wars. A new show comes out every other week, also known as bi-monthly for you calendar folk. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Podcast, A Star Wars Story. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Throughout history, the course of sports has been shaped by one thing: the fans.
From the moments you never dreamed of,
Bobby Womack has saved the USA's life in this World Cup! Paul, the runner! Loose ball! It's good! Gonzaga! The slipper still fits!
To the moments that still give you nightmares.
Behind the bag! It gets through Buckner! Here comes Knight and the Mets win it! He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl! Brady has his fifth!
through the good and the bad, fans have helped change the games we watch and the players we love.
They may not be the most logical people.
You are a factory of sadness! I'll see you Sunday.
But they know their teams better than anybody.
They'll blow in the ninth.
You may not always see them, but you know where to find them.
After all, there's nothing quite like the view from the cheap seats.
Broadcasting is part of the Public House Media Network.
Grab a chair and enjoy all there is in
The cheap seats.
Good morning, welcome to the Cheap Seats here on Public House Media. I'm Baxter Colburn. That handsome man across the table is Matt Coyne. How are you, sir, Mr. Coyne?
I'm great. How about you, Baxter?
Doing well. Great to be here. We've got a great show for you all today. A little bit of playoff hockey around the corner for those that are NHL fans. Jake Holmes from Pittsburgh. Was it Pittsburgh Hockey now?
Pittsburgh
Hockey
now.
Now. I questioned myself there for a moment. We'll be here later on in the program to help us not only talk about the Pens, but also talk about just playoff hockey as a whole. We're not going to talk about college hockey from Miracle. You get that reference?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, thank you. I love it. That was probably my favorite part of the whole movie. Anyway, great show in store for you today. We got a lot to get into today, so we won't waste your time. We want to remind you, though, the show does come out Monday, Wednesday, Friday over at 6 a.m. Central Time on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, thephmedia.com, TuneIn, iHeartRadio. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. All right, quick headlines. Here we go. We got some big ones to talk about today. Johnny Manziel yesterday was on the Dan Patrick Show. He was interviewed. Dan Patrick was asking him how long he's been sober, how he's been feeling, if he's been talking to NFL teams. Johnny was a little evasive on certain questions, but he sounded good, honestly. I listened to I would say about 8/10 of the interview. I missed the first minute or so before I got in the car, but I was relatively impressed. He sounds like a guy that knows he's messed up and is trying to take the right steps to get himself back to where he used to be, aside from the issues.
Yeah, like I said last week, I think he is legit trying to get back into it. So I'm impressed with him. I hope teams see that, at least give him a shot. On a characteristic side, it seems like he has changed a lot. It seems like he knows what he's done. I mean, he just let the spotlight get to him, and again, like I said last week, the spotlight's not on him right now. So We'll see what happens if that happens.
He's going to be playing in some summer league that Bleacher Report Live is going to be streaming, and some other or spring league rather. So I'm going to have to see
XFL.
if we can probably. I don't think he can actually play in the XFL, like legally. There's some issues with him, like with what he's done off the field that I think prohibits him from being in the XFL, which is weird.
Yeah.
So who would have guessed? I feel like they'd have taken anybody.
Yeah,
but
the other way, yeah.
Either way, we'll see. He's been in supposed talks with the Patriots and other teams. Dan Patrick did have this to say, though. He said that he did not think that Manziel would be a backup quarterback. He would say that he has that type of killer instinct that a starter quarterback would have, and he doesn't think Manziel would benefit from being in a backup role. So,
wow,
who needs a starter right now? I don't.
Yeah.
Arizona was the first team that came to my mind.
Yeah.
Even though they got Sammy Bradford, but he's good for about a quarter, and then he'll snap an attendee.
Yeah, I was going to say the poor guy end up getting hurt. Yeah, like he might even get hurt, like walking out of the field.
Probably. Like, I'm here. Yeah, probably. All right, over to the baseball world. Giancarlo Stanton, the new Yankee in town. He struck out 5 times in a game, Matt. 5 times! I thought this was Tim Tebow I was watching for a moment. This was terrible.
Yeah, afterwards they asked him, the fans pretty much booed him off the field. And he goes, I'm deserving of booing. You know, I'm one of those people, I struggle booing your own player.
Yeah.
I am one of those. But, I mean, 5 times in a game, that's impressive.
Is that the word?
Impressive on the wrong side, I guess. Yeah. I mean, but it's part of the game. He's not going to hit a home run every single game. It's
Why
not? It's not like he's going to hit a home run in the next game he plays.
Oh wait, but he did.
Oh,
yeah. He and Aaron Judge and Sanchez. I forget his first name.
I always forget his first name.
Gosh,
too.
they all homered the next game.
Yeah.
So they said, "Just kidding, we're good."
Yeah, like.
It's going to happen. You're going to go in slumps.
3, 4, 5 hitters. I mean, it took them, 6 games to do that? And you're going to see that many more times this year. That I really think an over-under on those 3 for home runs for the year, a fair one is like 140 for them 3. Over-under on that.
140 for home runs from those 3. Yeah, I would take the over on that, honestly.
Yeah. Last year I think they were over. I think
so.
I want to say they were. I mean, Stanton, Judge, and Sanchez, I could definitely see them 3 hitting 50 home runs.
Yep, easily. All right, and finally, as we know, on Monday, Villanova was crowned the champion of college basketball. Huzzah, huzzah. We do have the official results finally, though, in from the Public House Media Bracket Challenge. Taking away first place, congratulations, as our own host of Beauties and Headcanons, Emily Elmquist. She got 1,400 points, finished in the 99.8 percentile.
That's...
Woo!
Congratulations, Emily. Yeah, that's impressive.
I feel like she should come on the show and host.
Yeah.
I'm sure she had very calculated picks.
And the crazy thing is she was in first from round 1 on. She never lost that.
She never
I think
trailed.
about halfway through, she went into first and never lost it.
Yeah. She picked Villanova. 9, if I can count. 8 people picked Villanova to win. So obviously, positions 1 through 8 finished with Villanova as their champion because they were able to get the most points. Jeff from the Cheap Seats finished in second place. So he had 1,130 points.
At least we had somebody up there.
Yeah, Emily had 1,400 total points. We finished in the top 17,000 brackets. We were, as a collective challenge, we got placed in top groups. So, yay us.
Yeah.
Woo, top groups.
I sure didn't help that out.
It's all good. I did beat you, though.
Yeah, I know.
I finished in 25th with 550 points. Matt, you finished in 26th with 520
That's like next
points.
to last or last. I think the other one that I beat was the person you didn't fill.
33rd was the lowest that you could have. So Katie with Coffee with Keith and Katie was worse than you. So there's that.
I hate that second round. Can we go on to something else?
We're gonna have to. Looking at it though, because obviously PHM hosts are not eligible to win. The winners then would be, looks like we've got a tie here. So whoever Ron Severe is the winner of 1. And also LeBron never made the NCAA tournament also. So
great.
If your username is ThorBurnMac89 and JC_118, you guys are the winners. So we'll get you some Public House Media and the Cheap Seats swag sent off to you. So feel free to contact us so we can get you the appropriate mailing address for you and get that off to you, okay?
Yeah.
Cool beans.
Congrats,
those are your headlines. Matt and I are going to go cry, and we'll be back.
Next year.
It's always next year.
Hey, this is Jerry Strauss, host of Hollywood Happy Plays here on Public House Media. Thank you for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. And once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Hollywood Happy Place, where we talk with and about all of your favorite names from the worlds of TV, movies, music, whatever entertains you. We are getting up close and personal with those people right here on HHP. A new show comes out every 2 weeks, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Hollywood Happy Place. Thank you again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
I wonder how many people don't know that that's Michael Jackson. It took me a long time to realize that was Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I grew up at the tail end of his career, but still, I don't think people realize.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're, 90s,
right,
ish,
yeah,
late 80s, yeah,
you're like, oh, sure, yeah, Jackson 5, Michael, gotcha, yeah. Anyway, welcome back inside the cheap seats. We've got a big topic we want to jump on here in just a moment, but a reminder, you can find the show by going over to our Facebook page. The Cheap Seats by Public House Media is the best way to interact with us. There's a new store for Public House Media as well. If you haven't checked that out, just head over to hmedia.com. I've been told, supposedly, Matt, that the apparel for the Cheap Seats will be completed within the next week.
Nice.
Takes a lot of time for designs and all
when are they
that
getting
business.
My bobbleheads done?
Those are on back order. There's so many people that have been excited about a Matt Coyne bobblehead.
Well,
I mean, you're kind of a big deal. I get it. Big deal. Totally get it. Yeah. So we'll have to see, I guess, how that rolls for you. But either way, Matt Coyne bobbleheads apparently are a thing. I've been told that we're all going to get mugs with our faces on them. So a mug for a mug. I don't know.
I don't want a mug with my face on it.
It'd be quite the.
I'll get one with your face on it. You get one with my face.
I would do that, and we can just sit and drink coffee and stare at each other while we do it, and not say anything about it.
All right.
Woo!
Anyways.
All right, here we go. So, big thing that's been swirling around the sports world, not just the NFL, is that the New England Patriots, this is a huge speculation, this is a huge rumor, it's more so about the player, are potentially interested in trading for Odell Beckham Jr. Now, the Giants have come out and said, hey, 2 first-round draft picks, and you can have them, in a sense. That's the easy, light diet version of what all entails to it. But realistically, no one had 2 first-round draft picks. Cleveland did, and they're saying, we want the 1st and the 4th. Well, we don't really want to give that up. Giants already have number 2. Why would we just completely redo the entire first, 4 picks of the draft, basically, and just hand over all the keys to New York? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Just to get Odell Beckham Jr. when Tyrod Taylor's our quarterback. That doesn't make any sense to me. If I'm Cleveland, at least, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I don't see them going for him.
I would be shocked if they did.
Yeah. I mean, they could, but I think their draft picks, I understand 2 first-round draft picks, but you're talking top 5 draft picks with them.
Right.
I mean, that's ridiculous to give up for any player in the NFL right now. If I was the Browns, I would not trade those 2 for any player, those 2 picks for any player in the NFL.
I would do it for one player, but I'll get to that in a minute. I'll get to that in a minute. Tease. Anyway, but New England recently entered this conversation because they traded Brandon Cooks for a 1st and a 6th over a 1st and 6th round draft pick to the LA Rams, which, frankly, I was a little shocked about. I thought Brandon Cooks had a good year last year with New England, but I didn't think he was a high, a 1st round draft pick and a 6th round draft pick caliber type of player. I could have seen a 2 and a 5 or a 3 and a 4 or something like that, but a 1 and a 6, more so than the 1, I was a little surprised by that.
Yeah, I mean, when he was in New Orleans, I mean, he did great.
He was great.
And obviously that's why the Patriots took him. And I don't know if he just never gelled with Tom Brady. Like you said, he didn't have a bad year. I don't know if he just... There's something going on there. I don't know if there's something that the Rams see that they didn't. I don't know what
They've
that
got
is.
it's a young wide receiver paired with a young quarterback, so the longevity, the chemistry could be a long-term thing where they don't know the longevity of Tom. Mm-hmm. So you don't know. But I mean, now if you're Tom Brady, you're saying, well, I got Julian coming back off torn knee or whatever he had, or ACL, and that's it.
Yeah, and they have to bring somebody in, whether it's through the draft or whether it's
I would assume so.
Through free agency or trade. I don't know what that is. I do not see them going for Odell. I just
that would be interesting.
And I know people say, well, what about Randy Moss? What about Ocho Cinco whenever Belichick brought them in? I just don't see it happening. I think Odell, those two were much further into their career. Odell is young. He's loud. Does not seem like the type of player that Belichick would want on his team.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong. I mean, this could happen in the next day or so. Who knows? But I do not see Belichick bringing him in. I think that's way too much to give up for Odell. I think that Tom Brady, you bring in a mid-level wide receiver, and he's going to make him into a 1,000-yard receiver.
Yeah, I would completely agree with you there, too. I mean, New England, would that make them an even bigger villain? Yes, absolutely would. If you've got the Patriots with now Odell and, Tom Brady, that's a younger... I'm not going to use the word more talented than Randy Moss at that stage in his career, but you get where I'm trending in that nature. I mean, that's a Randy Moss at that age was woo, and maybe Odell might be that next best thing.
Maybe it's just my heart saying this can't happen.
That's a very good possibility.
I don't want it to happen,
right?
But really, I don't see it happening. I understand it. It makes complete sense. A couple weeks after we won 2 first-round draft picks, I don't know if the Giants would want to help the Patriots. I mean, I'm kind of joking, but with the 2 Super Bowls, I mean, it's like they're like, no, we're not going to help you.
Why would we help you?
Yeah,
but at the same time, I mean, if you would like to just offload the baggage that is OBJ, does it matter? I feel like as long as it's not a divisional team, like if the Redskins or if the Cowboys came to the Giants and said, we'll give you 2 first-round picks, I'm sure they would say no.
Yeah, and speaking of the Cowboys, they have, Dez Bryant, I know but, even somebody like a Dez Bryant, I feel like he would be more fitting towards the Patriots than Odell. I just think Odell's just he's just too outspoken. And but, Belichick is also known for bringing, young players in and pretty much telling them to shut up and play ball.
And that's pretty much worked out. That's why the rumors of Johnny Manziel even going there were so possible, because people are like, well, someone could fix him. It could be this team. My only other thought that I wanted to toss at this, and we talked about this last night too, Matt, when we were together, is that for Cleveland, it makes more sense for them to take both of their first-round draft picks and dump them into, and you were just saying you don't think any player in the league is worth 2 first-round draft picks within the top 5.
Yeah,
correct?
That high.
That high. I would make the argument that I think Cleveland should take both of those picks, drive up the highway to Green Bay, knock on the door, and say, hey, give us Aaron Rodgers. Here's the first 2 draft picks. Here's 1 and 4. Redo your team. You've only got Deshaun Kaiser here as your quarterback. Brett Hundley is basically out the door anyway, and Joe Callahan. Go draft a new quarterback. Get the new years going for Green Bay. Mm-hmm. That kind of helps the NFC North, because then all of a sudden, the Packers drop because Aaron Rodgers is gone, and Cleveland has an opportunity to finally make a surge now that they've added new pieces around as well too. So Green Bay could start rebuilding with 2 high-quality draft picks. But at the same time, Cleveland would finally get their man. And I think that's a true value. I would trade. Aaron Rodgers is worth 2 first-round draft picks that high. Odell Beckham is not. I don't think any other player is worth that much.
I hear what you're saying.
Maybe Julio Jones. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, how about Antonio Brown?
Yeah. Or even Le'Veon Bell. I need like those. No, but a small pocket.
I could get on board with you with that. I have a serious question, though. If that would happen, what would happen in the city of Green Bay?
There would be mass rioting, and people would probably burn down Lambeau. But the realistic nature of it is that Aaron Rodgers is running out of time.
Yeah.
This is a conversation we knew was going to happen at some point. He's in his early 30s. He's going to get another probably 5 or 6 year contract extension, and then that'll likely be the end of him. So why not cash in now and try to move forward? Why try to steal, issues down the road with free agents and all that other craziness when you could potentially just give up part of the house? Obviously, that would be a huge detriment, and Green Bay football would drop, or would it? You don't know, depending on who you draft, if you're smart about it and try to redo everything.
Well, yeah, and we were talking last night about how he probably has about this 5 year window.
I would say 5 to 6. Yeah,
and I look at somebody just because they're near and dear to my heart. You have the Steelers with Big Ben.
Yeah.
The last 5 years it's been, are they going to draft his replacement? Are they going to draft his replacement? And then last year, him saying, I might retire, and then the whole city of Pittsburgh went up in a tizzy and was, you got to get his replacement.
And they still didn't.
Yeah, and I feel like, do you take care of that now, or is this a draft class to do it? As a Packers fan, is there really is there really a quarterback in this draft class that you would be comfortable replacing Aaron Rodgers? That's a stupid question.
That's a hard question.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
To.
I mean, would you rather wait? You got 5 years. Would you rather wait and see if something like this comes up again, and then maybe there's a better quarterback? Because I feel like this is a pretty weak quarterback class. No offense to any of these quarterbacks, but.
Yeah, well, realistically, yeah, at this point, I mean, how is anyone supposed to know how good anyone is going to translate over from? I mean, no one really gave Tom Brady a chance, and there he is. It's hard to – I feel like it's so hard to just look at a guy and say, okay, great, here he is from college, and now here he is at the next level, and the seamless transition will take place. That's unfortunately not realistic, so – would you take a gamble this year? Would you take a gamble in 3 years, in 5 years? Sure, there's going to be new guys. People are getting smarter, faster, stronger. So sure, in theory, in 5 years, there's going to be a better version of what the quarterback is for the National Football League based on what college does as well, too. So think about that, though. Aaron Rodgers' replacement is probably a junior in high school right now.
Yeah.
You know? So he might be getting ready to, get into senior year and then go play 4 years of college football, and then all of a sudden, boom, there he is in Green Bay.
Yeah.
So...
Well, we'll see.
It could be you. It could be anybody.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't think it'll be me.
Probably not you, no. You're a little old. You're the same age as Aaron, aren't you?
I'm short and fat. Yeah. Yeah, we're about the same.
You can whip it.
Yeah.
You can throw it. All right, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we've got an interesting segment that Matt drummed up for us. The most prestigious award. We have a list of 10 awards that are more so available for single athletes to win. One of them is not physically an athlete. Another, it's an animal. But you'll get where we're going with that. Anyway, we're going to look at that and talk a little bit about what it would be. We're going to do a little draft, and you're going to have to judge us based off of that as well too. It's the most prestigious award in sports. When we return, up in the cheap seats.
Hi, this is Emily.
This is Lindsay.
And this is Elizabeth, co-hosts of Beauties and Headcanons here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Once you are done with this episode, we hope you'll come check out our show, Beauties and Headcanons, where we talk nerdy to you about fandoms, fan fiction, and all pop culture for nerds that you can think of. A new show comes out every Friday.
Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
We got the fire. Yeah, we got the fire. And we're gonna let it burn. We're gonna let it burn.
All right, back here in the cheap seats on Public House Media. I'm Baxter Colburn. That's Matt Coyne. Check out the website, thephmedia.com, for all the latest information for Public House Media. It's the best way to make sure that you are staying up to date with whatever your favorite shows might be. We hope it's the cheap seats, but we also hope that you check out other programs as well. Time now for the most prestigious award. I feel like I need the Olympic music, boom,
that would be cool.
So Matt drummed up a list of the 10 best single-person awards, basically. Not, Jimmy that can't get a date around the corner. We're talking about in sports, obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is a very intriguing list. I'm going to run through it really fast, and then we can kind of hash it out a little bit, and then we can kind of figure out how we want to go about dividing this. So we have the Green Jacket from the Masters, the Cy Young Award, which is the best pitcher in baseball, the Heisman, of course, in college football, the Triple Crown Award, which I think is very, very, very hard to do, Tour de France, the yellow jersey. Are you talking about one singular leg or the whole, you win the Tour de France?
Just the leg, yeah. Just for you to wear the jersey at one point.
Interesting. An Olympic gold medal, Hall of Fame in one of the 4 major sports, MVP award in one of the 4 major sports, a retired jersey, and the Wheaties box, which I think is terrific. Of course, thank you for throwing that in there.
Hey, you're welcome. I thought that was a fun one.
I thought you did great. I thought that was a good one. So,
and I know that there's other ones. I'm sure people are like, oh, what about the? Like I told you, this is single player achievement. So it's not. If you're wondering where the Stanley Cup is, where the Commissioner's Trophy is from baseball, where the Lombardi Trophy is, where NBA...
Landon Donovan major, MVP award from MLS.
Yes,
the FIFA Player of the Year.
What's funny is I was going to actually text you and ask you what that would be, but then I was like, well, if I got to text you to tell you what a prestigious soccer award is, I don't know how many people would know.
Yeah,
so.
Well, the FIFA Player of the Year is about the biggest thing that you can have. So that might replace the Wheaties box.
We can do that if you want.
It's up to you. Wheaties box is kind of fun, though.
Yeah, I like that.
It's not an easy thing to get. So, looking at this list, did you purposely fill this list out in what you think would be the 1 through 10?
No, I just kind of as they came to my mind, I thought about it. Or well, Green Jacket is number 1 because that's why I thought of this idea with
the Masters.
With the Masters this weekend, one of my favorite sports traditions of the year. I love watching it. And it made me think, I said, wow, the Green Jacket's a pretty prestigious thing, a pretty coveted award. And then it was funny because I thought of it, and I went on ESPN.com, and they had like a 5-minute video about how prestigious it is. I'm like, oh.
There we go. I feel.
So, I mean, my idea was to make a list of 10.
Yeah.
I ended up with 10. And then I thought it would be fun if we drafted our prestigious award team, and then for our poll question, we could say whose team is more prestigious.
I'm game with
Baxter's or Matt.
Perfect. Well, how do you want to? Here, let's have Siri flip a coin. So, do you want heads or tails?
I'll take heads.
Okay. Siri, flip a coin.
Heads.
Ah!
Bang. There we go. That's the easiest way to do it. So, all right, with the first pick overall in the most prestigious award draft, Matt Coyne selects.
I will take. I'm going to go Green Jacket.
Of course he is.
That was just on my forefront. So
okay. Are you going to put your name next to it?
Yeah,
that way I know. Okay.
Is that good?
That's fine. For me and my overall first pick, I'm going to select the Olympic gold medal.
Oh!
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. I think the Olympic gold medal, you have to go through so many years of training just to get to one moment. I don't care if you win a gold medal in the luge or if you win a gold medal in whatever the thing with the...
Flonkerton.
Yeah, exactly.
Office fans. Yes! All right.
Didn't watch The Office.
Oh,
anyway.
Okay.
All right, next pick for you, sir.
I'm going to go Triple Crown Award.
That's a great one. That's very, very difficult to do.
Yes.
I totally get that.
Not too many have done it.
No, not too many at all. For me, my next pick is going to have to be... oh boy. I have to go with Tour de France because it's just such a rigorous thing on your body.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
I've got to take the Tour de France on that. I'm almost wondering if it should be the entire thing that you win. But
well, that's. As long as you're wearing, I feel like.
Well, if you win, you get the yellow jacket at the end.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
But either way, so
anyway.
I have a gold medal. You have the Tour de France. You have the green jacket, and you have the Triple Crown. All right.
Yes.
Next up,
I'm going to add Heisman.
The Heisman,
even though it's not as prestigious as it used to be.
Okay. Oh boy. I am going to take the retired jersey because that means that you had a long, prestigious, successful. You probably won a couple of championships.
Good low round.
You know, you really did something well for your team across the board, and now they are honoring you. Or you maybe made an impact across the sport if you're Jackie Robinson. Like that's a big deal. No one will ever wear your jersey again. Yeah. That's huge.
Did you see the Vegas Golden Knights the other night?
I saw that.
Isn't that cool?
Yep.
I respect that. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, they retired, what was it, number...
Is it 50?
58, I think.
I forget the number, but yes.
For the people that were killed in the Las Vegas shooting. I thought that was such a cool thing.
Completely agree.
But my next pick will be... I'm going to go Hall of Fame for major sports.
One of 4 major sports. Okay.
Yeah. Kind of for the same reason you are.
Sure. So now the only thing left on the board is the Cy Young Award, the MVP Award in 4 major sports, and a Wheaties box.
Yeah.
I've already selected 3. I'm going to have 2 more here. I feel like the precision and what it takes to... We always hear about this. I don't know if it still means the same, though. I don't know if the Cy Young Award means as much as it used to. That's what I mean, I know it's an individual thing because it's you as a pitcher, but you are also bailed out at times from your infield and your outfield as well, too. So I feel like MVP award in a 4 major sport would be my next pick because that still requires you to dominate all season long and win a lot of games and potentially win a championship too based off of winning the MVP award.
Yeah.
So I've got to go MVP.
Well, I will give you Cy Young. I'm going to go Wheaties box because the reason why is if you think about it, all these awards a fan can't get. It's not like you can have the yellow jersey sitting in your house, but a Wheaties box.
eBay.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But a Wheaties box, I mean, you could have Michael Jordan's face in your collection from him being under one of his 5,000 Wheaties boxes.
It's true.
So I'm going to go Wheaties box.
Okay, and then, I'll take the Cy Young Award. So, I mean, I'm what?
I'm just cheering.
I was like, did I miss?
Sorry.
I was like,
no,
what did
I
do? What did I do? No, I think so. I mean, I'm pretty happy with this, though. For my 5, I've got the Cy Young Award, I've got the Tour de France yellow jersey, I've got the Olympic gold medal, MVP award in 4 major sports, and a retired jersey. I feel like that's a pretty surefire victory for me.
Green Jacket, Heisman, Triple Crown Award, Hall of Fame, and Wheaties box. So we'll put these up and see what I like this. We should do this again for other random stupid things. Yeah, well, this isn't stupid. But
we'll make a graphic. We'll post it on the Cheap Seats Facebook page. We'll share it. We'll like it. We'll comment it. We'll do all kinds of stuff like that.
That'd be great.
I love it.
Yeah,
awesome. Great job thinking of this. I really enjoy it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we're gonna head to a break. When we come back, Jake Holmes is gonna be here from Pittsburgh Hockey Now to talk about the little bit of playoff hockey coming here to the NHL. I don't know why we went to Boston, but we did. All right, we'll be back here in the Cheap Seats. Stay tuned.
This is Daniel Poppy, host of How to Write Good here on Public House Media. I just want to thank you for listening to the following broadcast brought to you by Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope that you'll come check out my show, How to Write Good, the writing show that is not about writing. A new show of How to Write Good comes out every Wednesday, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of How to Write Good. Again, thanks for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Welcome back upside the Cheap Seats here on Public House Media. I'm Baxter Colburn. That's Matt Coyne. We are having a good feeling after our most prestigious award draft, and now we have an even better feeling. Hey, I like my team. I feel like we're gonna have Jake Holmes on here in just a second, and we'll have to have him see if he can at least settle the initial tiebreaker for us, because we're both biased about our teams. But either way, a reminder for you, the show comes out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Check it out at 6 a.m. Central Time if you are just desperate to hear it as soon as it comes out. If not, it's a podcast as well, so you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you find your podcasts. So that way you can catch it at what time is convenient for you. I listen on my way to work, so I listen at 8:30 a.m. Central Time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So there you go. All right, time now to welcome in a friend of the show back out east as we call home. We welcome back to the program Jake Holmes from Pittsburgh Hockey Now. Welcome back to the show, Jake. How are we doing today, sir?
Hey, not too bad, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We are thrilled to have you back. So before we get into the hockey, Matt and I need you to settle a debate for us, Jake. Can you do that for us?
Oh, of course I can. Of course.
Of course. Perfect. So we, in our last segment, did a most prestigious award draft where we each drafted 5 awards that a single athlete can earn. And we had our own teams of 5. I'll read you my 5. Matt will read you his 5. And we just want your initial, just raw reaction to who you think has the better team, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so here are my 5. I have the Cy Young Award, the Tour de France yellow jersey, an Olympic gold medal, an MVP award in one of the 4 major sports, and a retired jersey. Those are my 5 from my team. I feel like that's a pretty good team, right, across the board?
Yeah, well. All right, so here's mine. Green Jacket, Heisman, Triple Crown Award, Hall of Fame in one of the 4 major sports, and a Wheaties box.
See, the Wheaties box is underrated, man. That's underrated. That's a big deal.
It is.
I do like the green jacket in there, that's a push for me because it's the green jacket's in there, but I like the Olympic gold medal.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm a cereal guy. I'm gonna have to go with Matt, I think.
It's just because you're friends. It's just because you're friends. I knew it.
Representing the bird.
I knew it. Well, we thought. I mean, this is Matt's idea, and I really liked it, and so I'm hopeful that we can do more of these as well too. And it helps having a guest break the tie for us as well too.
Thank you.
So speaking of breaking things, the internet has continued to get broken by Sidney Crosby because he refuses to play hockey on the ice. He continues to score goals in the air. I feel like he's probably playing soccer by now. He's going to just do a bicycle kick eventually and score a goal. But what in the world is Sidney Crosby doing right now to the sport of hockey, Jake?
Well, he knows what time of year it is. He knows what time of year it is. He's got to be playing his best hockey right now. And really, that game against New Jersey where he shot it off the post and came back and baseball swung it in, that was one of the most, and watching Sid for the last 13 years, I think that's being the time, that might be the most ridiculous one. They needed to win that game. They needed to get that monkey off their back, beating New Jersey and Keith Kincaid. So I just think that it's that time of year. It's that time of year. He's looking for his third straight Conn Smythe. He's looking for his third straight Stanley Cup. He's the best in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, so going into the playoffs, Jake, last year the Pens didn't have Letang. Obviously, they lost Murray before the game even started. This year, who needs to step up for the Penguins going into the playoffs? Who do you think really needs to step up for them to make another run?
Well, the thing is with this year, like you said, I mean, Murray should be healthy. He's coming back from injury, and Letang's back, and they're starting to, ramp up his minutes for playoff time, getting about 25 to 26 minutes a game. I think it's secondary scoring. Like last year with Jake Gensel leading the NHL in Stanley Cup playoff goals scored with 13. Look for a guy like him. I really like Connor Sherry's game right now. Mm-hmm. Connor Sherry. Changed the pronunciation on all of this. But he's been playing really well with Hornquist and Sheahan over the last couple games. Look out for him. I think that he could be an under-the-radar guy, and I think he has to step up because the goals aren't coming from across the entire lineup right now. It's mostly the top-heavy guys.
Yeah, that would be a concern. That would be a good thing for sure. I mean, so aside from injuries, what is the biggest concern that you feel like for the Pens they have in front of them as they head into the playoffs?
Well, really good column on Pittsburgh Hockey Now this week. Was a lot of there's my plug. But a lot of people think that it's the defense. The back six, Ian Cole's gone. That really made the whole fan base angry. I think it's the back checking forwards. Defensive abilities of the forwards, particularly at wing. Penguins are giving up a ton of goals to defensemen. That's going to be a real issue against a team of course, it would have to be in the Stanley Cup final against a team like Nashville, a team that has 4 elite defensemen. Even a team like Tampa Bay with Ryan McDonough and Victor Hedman. That's a concern to me moving forward.
Yeah. So last question for you here, and I mean we need your input with you being the professional here.
Of course.
Who's your Stanley Cup final pick, and who do you have taking the whole thing?
Okay. So
it's just a small question.
Small question.
Come on.
There's only one right answer.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's with teams having 1 or 2 games left, there's a lot of matchups that are still yet to be determined. But right now, until the season's over, I'm going to stick with my preseason pick: Pittsburgh over Minnesota in 6. I just think the Penguins have the most talent. But again, one concern that I do have is that defensive play of the forwards. Again, I mean, stay tuned. I mean, that could change. I really like what Nashville's doing. I love the Boston Bruins. I love what they're doing. I think that's the best team down the middle of the ice in the entire NHL right now. So yeah, Pittsburgh over Minnesota in 6. Sidney Crosby wins 3rd straight Conn Smythe.
Oh,
hey,
yeah,
you heard it here first. The
Yinzers will like that.
That's
Jake.
true.
Yeah. I'm getting Yinzers on the show as much as possible.
He needs to. I appreciate it. Jake Holmes, sir, it's a pleasure. If people want to find you on social media or your writing, where can they do so?
Yeah, Pittsburgh Hockey Now. Follow them also on Twitter. And, my Twitter handle, my personal, Jake Holmes 570.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Jake Holmes, it's always a pleasure. We'll talk to you soon, sir.
Thanks, Jake.
Awesome. Sounds good, guys. Thanks again.
Yeah, have a good day.
Absolutely. There goes Jake Holmes here on the Cheap Seats. Great to speak with him. When we come back, we're going to wrap it up. It's a poll question, which we kind of already teased, and our bold prediction for the week. You're listening to the Cheap Seats on Public House Media.
This is Kim Meyer, the host of Choose to Rise here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Choose to Rise, where we talk about living with positive mindsets, how to increase our confidence, building our faith, and living out our life on purpose. A new show comes out via podcast every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if you want to catch the episode live instead, stop by Public House Media around 6:45 Central Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday as well. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Choose to Rise. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
The moon comes up and the sun goes down. We find a little spot on the edge of town. Twist off, sip a little, pass it around. Dance in the dust, turn the radio up.
Welcome back upside the Cheap Seats. We're not exactly passing things around this morning. It's a little early for that, but I mean, we're passing coffee around. It's a cold morning. We had snow. We had winter 3 finally. Are we on episode 3 finally for the winter for the season up here in northern Wisconsin?
Yeah, I got about 10 inches or so the other
Something
night.
Like that. Yeah, when I went to work yesterday, or rather on Wednesday, whatever day it was, my bosses were saying, yeah, we got almost 24 inches at our house.
Wow.
I'm like, but how? How is that possible? Like, well, we opened our front door and it was up to our knees. I'm like, well, that's probably a little bit of drift snow, but still.
Wow.
Yeah, my boss was like, well, in the driveway, he's like, it was 16 inches in the driveway.
That's insane.
It's like, whoo. I'll take our 8 or 9 inches that we got here. So, okay, time to wrap this thing up. A big thanks to Jake Holmes for swinging by today. It was great to have him on the show.
And he voted great.
Yes. Speaking of voting, our poll question will be up on the Facebook page today. We are going to put a nice little fancy-dancy graphic together for you because that's how we roll here on the Cheap Seats. I should have said how we roll around here. That would have been a great segue. Come on, Baxter. Get it together. Anyway, Matt and I put our teams together of who we think is what we think is the best top 5 prestigious sports awards. You're going to have to vote for us and let us know your thoughts. But now we move on to the bold predictions as we get ready to close out the show. Mr. Coyne, would you like to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this weekend, like I said, Augusta.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things.
The Masters.
There will be 2 holes in one this weekend at Augusta National.
Interesting. Okay. My bold prediction will also hang around the Masters. I think Tiger will finish top 3.
I like that. I'd like to see. That'd be good for golf.
I think that would be good for golf. I'm not going to say he wins because I think that's too difficult of a challenge to ask him to do.
Yeah.
But I like him finishing top 3. I like him giving people a little bit of, ooh, ha, Tiger.
Yeah.
It's good for the sport. So
we'll see when we're both wrong. But that's why they're bold.
Right.
A good prediction would be like Tiger Woods will finish a hole.
Tiger Woods will hit a ball this weekend. And then he gets hurt, and then he doesn't hit a ball, and then look at us. Wow. Brilliant.
Of course we're wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you won't have any final thoughts, but Matt Coyne, any final thoughts?
No, I don't have any final thoughts.
One of these days you're going to say yes, and I'm going to be like, what?
And it's going to extend the show by 15 minutes.
Perfect. You're like, and another thing. Like, okay, we're done. That's Matt Coyne. I'm Baxter Colburn. The Cheap Seats comes out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 a.m. Central Time. Thanks to Public House Media. Subscribe and give us a rating and a review over on Apple Podcasts. If you'd be just so intensely grateful, if you would, it'd be great. We'd be thankful. It'd be huge. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, awesome. All right, thanks to Jake Holmes. Thanks to the entire cast of characters that makes this show possible. We'll be back on Monday with Christian and John for another show at 6 a.m. Central Time up in the Cheap Seats. Have a great weekend, everybody.